Infection control. Infection control involves taking the steps to prevent the spread of infectious agents. Terms related to infection control. Antibacterial, directed or effective against bacteria, such as soap. Antiseptic, preventing or arresting the growth of microorganisms with skin substances, such as hand sanitizer. Asepsis, the condition of being aseptic, which means free from contamination such as bacteria and viruses. Aseptic technique, preventing infection, such as wearing masks to stop the spread of pathogens such as COVID, or wearing sterile gloves. Bacteria, plural of bacterium, any of a domain, PF, prokaryotic, round, spiral, or rod-shaped, single-celled microorganisms that may lack cell walls or are gram-positive or gram-negative. They typically live in soil, water, or organic matter. Three main points of the bacteria are they are round, spiral, and rod-shaped. They are single-celled microorganisms that may lack cell walls, or they are gram-positive or gram-negative. Blood-borne pathogen, a specific causative agent of disease located in the blood, such as bacteria or a virus. An example we can see here is a virus that has infected the bloodstream. Contagious disease or communicable disease, an infectious disease communicable by contact with one who has it, with a bodily discharge of such a patient, or with an object touched by the patient. A party is a great example where infections can be spread through touch and bodily discharge. Contaminated, to soil, stain, or infect by contact or association. Direct contact, union or junction of body surfaces. Fungi, any of the kingdom fungi of saprophytic and parasitic spore-producing eukaryotic, typically filamentous organisms, formerly classified as plants that lack chlorophyll. Examples of fungi are molds, rust, mildews, smuts, and yeast. Healthcare-associated infections. HAIs, also known as nosocomial infection, acquired or occurring in a hospital. Infection, an infective agent or material contaminated with an infective agent. Isolationism, a separation for the period of communicability of infected people or animals from others, so as to prevent or limit the direct or indirect transmission of the infectious agent from those who are infected to those who are susceptible. A box that has been contaminated by Ebola must be separated. Microorganism, an organism of microscopic or ultramicroscopic size. Pathogen, a disease-producing microorganisms.
A pathogen is a microorganism that can cause disease. In this video, we are going to discover what they are exactly, how they can spread and cause infection, and how their spread can be reduced or prevented. Pathogens may be viruses, bacteria, protists, or fungi. They are just microorganisms that can cause disease. Bacteria are microscopic. Even the biggest are only 10 micrometers long, which is minuscule. Once bacteria find their way into the body, they release toxins that make us feel ill. Examples of bacteria infections are cholera, typhoid, food poisoning, and gonorrhea. Although bacteria are very small, viruses are much smaller again. They are among the smallest organisms we know of. Viruses not only enter your body, but they enter into cells and reproduce inside cells. They reproduce hundreds of thousands of times, and eventually cause the host cell to explode. The virus then passes out through the airwaves, bloodstream, or other route and can spread through populations. Examples of viral infections are the flu, influenza, measles, mumps, the common cold, and AIDS. Of the thousands of species of fungi, a few can cause human diseases. They can cause minor skin conditions all the way up to life-threatening diseases. Some common fungal skin conditions are athlete's foot and ringworm. They are contagious and can pass from person to person through direct contact, or less commonly through contact with common surfaces. There are some opportunistic fungal diseases that can take advantage when the immune system is lowered for other reasons, such as cancer or AIDS. Protists are single-cell organisms. Some protists can contaminate food and cause amoebic dysentery, which is an intestinal infection and results in severe diarrhea. Protist pathogens can also be parasitic. They live in or on other organisms and cause harm. Malaria is an example of a protist pathogen that lives in the blood and is transmitted by mosquitoes. Watch the second part of this video to see how pathogens are spread and how their transmission can be prevented.
Standard precautions, a group of infection prevention practices that apply to all patients, regardless of suspected or confirmed diagnosis or presumed infection status. Chain of infection, a sequence of circumstances where all events must occur to develop an infection. These links include infectious agents, reservoir, portal of exit, mode of transmission, portal of entry, and susceptible host. Infectious agent or pathogen, disease-causing microorganisms that include bacteria, viruses, protozoa, fungi, and helminths. Bacteria, single-cell microorganisms that multiply rapidly. Viruses, DNA or RNA is encased in a protein coating. Viruses cannot reproduce outside of a living host cell. Unicellular microorganisms that can infect the blood, brain, intestines, and other body areas. Fungi, tiny primitive organisms that contain no chlorophyll. Helminths, parasitic worms or flukes. Reservoir, a place where the pathogen grows and may or may not multiply. Examples are patient, food, and animals. Portal of exit, an exit route for pathogens to leave its host. Examples are through the blood, skin, and mucus. Mode of transmission, the manner in which an infectious agent moves from one source to another. Examples are touch, airborne, droplets, and medical instruments. Contact is the most frequent source of HAI's hospital-acquired infection. The two types of contact are direct contact, person-to-person or physical contact between source and susceptible host, and indirect contact, which involves contact with contaminated inanimate objects. Vector transmission occurs through a bite. Droplet infection occurs when the droplets from an infected person are projected a short distance to the host nasal mucosa, mouth, or conjunctivae. Airborne transmission occurs when the infection particles disperse in the air to enter the host by inhalation. Portal of entry, a place where a pathogen enters the body. Examples include the skin, mouth, and nose. The most effective barrier to infection is intact skin. Once the barrier is broken, the infecting microorganism can enter the body. Any portal of exit can also become a portal of entry for pathogens. Susceptible host, a person who becomes ill after pathogens enter the body because they cannot fight off the pathogen. A human host may be a susceptible host by virtue of age, weak state of health, or broken skin. People requiring invasive procedures such as venipuncture, surgery, or IV are also susceptible to infection. Just wanted to say good luck on test 2 for everybody, because I know test 1 definitely killed us.